Welcome to the Energy Type series, where we are diving deep into each of the energy types. And first up, we have the Manifestor. So, Manifestor, this is your video. This is how you are designed to give, receive, manifest, create, and what you're here for. So, we want to be thinking about the energy types as giving us information or awareness around how to create more flow, ease, impact, create more fulfillment in your life, and no longer trying to force or push your way through life. And it feels like you're always moving upstream or feeling burnt out, feeling frustrated, feeling angry, feeling inhibited. And that's just because you're not using or you're not allowing your energy and your life force to flows in ways that are meant for you. So when we think about your energy type, we're always going to be grounding into your strategy. That is the most important piece. Okay, Manifestor. So you are only 9% of the population. You are the second most rarest type, and you are the trailblazers, the change makers, the leaders, the initiators. We need manifestors to move towards what they creatively desire, what you see that the world needs change in, where you feel like there's something that you can create impact within. They're often known as the visionaries that have a vision, or what I've dubbed as your own peaceful revolution, something that you are here to totally transform, make new. And it initiates a sense of ease and peace, inspiration in others. It's often said that the manifestor is the cause and everyone else is the effect. You can't help but to create an impact on anyone that you come in to experience with or you connect with. So your movement, your desire, what you want to create in the world is not random. It's for a reason, and the world needs it from you. So manifestors often have quite an independent or lone wolf energy. They need their own independence, their freedom, a desire to be able to pivot or change or be able to move in directions that feel meaningful and fulfilling for the manifestor. The worst thing that a manifestor can experience is feeling micromanaged, feeling under the thumb, feeling like they have to do something or that they can't trust their own inner urges because deep down they know that there is something more for them. And a manifestor that feels shackled or feels like a prisoner or feels like they can't express or do or create or move in the way that they want, it creates a lot of anger for the manifestor. And this is by design. A manifestor needs to be able to move freely, needs to be able to express freely because that's what they're here for. But we need to remember that no one is ever holding you down. It's usually your own stories in your mind, the stories that tell you that you can't do that, or people don't want that, or people aren't ready for it, or people don't like you. This whole story that the world is not ready for you is a big experience for manifestors. And it's also this story of it's not possible, or it's not realistic, or I'm too much, or people won't like it, people will judge me, or it won't work out. All of these stories and illusions means that the manifestor can't be in their fullest expression. Now, the manifestor is known to have an impactful and closed aura. And what that means is that they're meant to be unique. A manifestor is not meant to be swayed or contorted or molded to the people that they're around or to conditioning or to environments. You're meant to be so unique and so yourself and different. I often will say, let your freak flag fly, manifestor. We need your different and unique perspectives and thoughts and ways of being because we need difference in our world and you are here to create difference. And to create difference, you got to be different. And so when you can be so yourself, unapologetically yourself, and move from authenticity and love and excitement and passion and difference, you will connect and draw in your people. So the reason why it's called a closed aura is not that you're closing people out. Throw that all in the bin. If you've read anywhere that it's like you have a repelling aura or yeah, be done with that. Get rid of that. You do not have a repelling aura. Think of your aura as sifting what is for you and what is not for you. So your energy does the talking. The people that align and love who you are, what you're creating, the vision you have for the world will be so magnetized to you when you are in your true self energy. If you're dimming yourself or trying to be something you're not or hiding or pretending or going for the half-hearted dream rather than the full vision, you won't draw in the people that are connected with your vision. I often think that when a manifestor was born, there was the perfect and plenty of full people that are meant to be connected with that manifestor, that are meant to help that manifestor bring to life their vision, or who are designed to receive from their vision or designed to give to the vision. But you're not going to attract those people if you're trying to be something you're not, or you're not being in your truest expression, because it's just the energy and the frequency doesn't meet. And so what a lot of manifestors end up doing is trying to people please, trying to be everything for everyone else, trying to be liked. And that's when you repel people, because you're not connecting with the people that are meant for you. All we need as the people around the manifestor is for you to be so yourself, because then we're going to benefit from that authentic expression and what you create from that authentic place. So authenticity and freedom is the most important piece as a manifestor. And you're showing all of us that is possible and that is allowed. And that's what we need from you. And then you inspire people to follow you on that path, on what you're creating, because it's like we want to feel life through you, manifestor. It's like we're connecting with life force energy, with passion, with excitement, with just this visionary energy that people are so attracted to. But if you suppress that, if you don't want to be too much, then you're losing the magnetism that you're here for, and that's natural for you. If you are burnt out, if you are just heavy with burdens and obligation, that being, that life force that you're here for dims and is almost contorted or is blocked. And it's when you release any stories of who you should be, or any stories of needing to control or needing to fight for it or needing to burn yourself out in the process, when you release all of that and you are in your full truest expression and you share about what matters to you, create what you care about, the people will come. You can't wait for the people to come to create. You create and the people will come. You're the initiator. You're the one that gets everything into motion. And this doesn't mean that you have to always, reinvent the wheel or invent something. When you do something through your transmission, through your divine channel, through who you are, that's what people connect with. They connect with you. They connect with you and they buy you first, and then they buy your product or your service. So each manifestor is designed to bring their vision to life. Whatever you feel, impulse to create, you have an idea or a vision, that's what you're here for. That is not random. That is not by accident. And that is something to treat as sacred and your invitation and opportunity to step into your highest expression of that. It's going to involve stepping through fear. It's going to involve you going first. It's going to involve people not understanding. Good. That means you're being a visionary. That means you're initiating. If people don't understand around you, amazing. If people are already kind of getting it, I would argue that you're not aiming high enough and you're not uplifting and you're not creating the full expression of what you can. You're meant to be the one that goes first. And that doesn't mean you have to carry everyone behind you. It just means that you get to invite people into a higher perspective and a higher reality. So those who create meaningful change in our world do have a big energy. This is why it's said to be an impactful energy. You walk into the room and people notice you, even if you're trying to not be noticed. And that can be challenging as a child, especially when as children, we just want to fit in. We just want to belong. We just want to be like everyone else. We just want to be loved. And for a lot of manifestors, it can be, I guess, an experience where you may have triggered people, where people just seem to have a very strong idea about you, for better or for worse. They either love you or they have a problem with you. And the most important thing for you as a manifestor is to know that that's not personal. That's got nothing to do with you, and it's got everything to do with them. And while it's not up for you to try and convince them to like you or to people please or to become and contort and mold yourself for what you think that they need from you or they want from you, it's for you to create more safety and more knowing in your own body that this is you and you in this lifetime. You are here to create your version of heaven on earth, your peaceful revolution, your peaceful experience. And the people that are meant for you will love it and they will jump on board. And those who it's not for them, that's okay. It's just not for them. It's not about you then trying to convince them. I often use the analogy of imagine the manifestor as a train driver. And you're saying, I'm driving the first train from Australia to America, let's just say. And you're announcing that on the platform saying, we're going to America. If you want to jump on board, would love to have you. If you don't, that's okay. Enjoy your life in Australia. And so the people that believe in your vision, believe in you, want to be around you, want to be around your life force, want to learn from you, want to experience you, want to know your products, want to know your services, want to be in friendship, want to, whatever. They're going to jump on board and love it and be loyal to you and want to support you and want to build you up and want to build your vision up. And then the people that don't get it, they'll stay off the train. And it would be a waste of your energy to try and convince the people that don't want to get on your train, don't want to get on your boat, don't want to get on your wavelength. Instead, focus on the people that do. And most importantly, focus on you, focus on what you're here to create. Because when you move forward in the direction of your desires and move forward unapologetically with devotion, you're not only going to feel your best and fulfilled, but it's going to create abundance and success naturally around you. I often think that it's going to be the things that we might not understand yet. Like we would have had no idea that we would be so connected and needing these. I'm holding up my iPhone right now. And Steve Jobs is a perfect example of someone that revolutionized the technology space and was a very controversial person, very polarizing, but we can't deny that he's totally changed the world, we'll say. And so I can admit I wouldn't have understood the iPhone until now. It's something that I would touch at least once a day. So people aren't going to get it until it's right in front of their eyes. People are not going to get it until it's created. And then they'll say, oh, I always believed in you. I always knew you were going to do that. But there's going to be a period where people don't understand. Good. Give them something to look at, give them something to be in awe of, and give them something to be inspired by. So Manifestor, you can sometimes make people uncomfortable. When you get people thinking, when you provoke people into a higher consciousness, when you ask different questions, when you dare to live a life differently, it's going to provoke people. It's going to trigger people. And as I said, it's nothing personal, but it's so important for you to see that that is for their better good. By them watching you be in your true embodiment and, being free in your expression, yes, it might trigger some form of fear within them or something that they don't allow for them. And that's not for you to say, and that's not for you to interfere with their process, but it's just for you to know that it isn't a reflection of you or something that you need to take into account and then dim yourself. You're here to create ripples. You're here to get people thinking differently. You're here to create a new and unique transmission. You're here to create change. And sometimes change is uncomfortable for people. Sometimes change brings up all of our stuff and all of our conditioning. But when you come, and this is important, coming from higher consciousness, coming from inner truth, coming from your divine energy, coming from love and compassion and innovation, you are at your highest power. You always want to be thinking that you're moving from your true self energy, which is peace, rather than creating energy or action from your not self, which is anger. And this has been a lot of experience for manifestors. The creator of human design, Ra, he spoke a lot about how manifestors weren't really designed to be parented. He said that a manifestor knows what they want. They know their direction. They know what is right for them, especially as a child, but it's not the way that we think of being parented. So if you have a manifestor child, I would just remind you that they really do know what's right for them. They're not going to be someone that comes and constantly asks for permission. They're not going to be someone that needs basically your advice or input. A manifestor is meant to be very independent and to know what's right for them. It would be in misalignment with their design if they felt like they always needed that confirmation or that permission. So it's not that they are rebellious per se, which I guess every manifestor is a little bit rebellious and knows what they're doing, knows where they're going. And that can be hard as a parent. But it's important to instill that trust within a manifestor. Don't break their spirit. And a lot of manifestors' spirit has been, I guess, broken in their childhood because it can be very confusing as a parent and child dynamic because kind of the child becomes a little bit of their own parent. And I often use the example that a manifestor child might see a butterfly outside and will unlock the door, open the door, and go explore in the garden and won't even think to ask their mother or their father whether they can do it or ask for permission. Wouldn't even compute. It's no, I see something, I want to do it. I open the door and I go for it. And so that can be quite hard for a parent. And it's just important to know that your child operates differently as a manifestor. And if you're an adult manifestor listening to this, knowing that, yeah, you have always known. Trust yourself, back yourself. You might have had an experience where you learned that you couldn't trust yourself, or it made you a bad person if you did what was right for you. I just want to remind you that when you follow your desires and you follow your creative urges, it benefits everyone on the whole. If you're doing things that you don't desire, if you're doing things out of obligation or forcing or controlling or people pleasing, it takes you further away from your mission, your purpose, and your authentic expression, which is what you're here for. So, Manifestor, your strategy of how to best use your energy to give and to receive and to create more flow, abundance, love, all the things that we want in this world. You are here and designed to follow your urges and to inform others. So, yours is a two-prong approach, and this is just how to create more flow in your life and less resistance. So, manifestors are the only type that don't need to respond from the external. All you need to wait for is your internal urges, your creative urges, your desire that activates and creates energy within your system. So, you're firstly going to have an urge, a desire, a creative idea, something that it feels like an impotence in your body, and you'll have a surge of energy to be able to carry out that idea. So it's not ever about waiting for the external. Your experience is internal, but you still need to wait for the urge. So when you're living in alignment, it means you follow and you trust these impulses, even if they don't make logical sense, even if people don't, get around it, even if people don't understand. When you trust your vision, when you trust where you're going, and you do this on the everyday, I think sometimes we think it has to be these big steps or these big visions. No, it's the daily incremental steps. It's the micro actions. And when you can be living in alignment with yourself and seeing, what do I feel most excited about? Where do I feel curious? Where do I feel activated? Where do I feel creative? And moving towards that in the everyday, the compound effects builds up that you then create a life of alignment, and you also create what the world needs. I just want to remind you that if you have a desire, it's because the world, the collective, needs something from you, and that has created the desire within you to give to them. And so if you have a vision or an idea, it's just taking the action day by day and not creating, I guess, overwhelm or fear or procrastination, because it can be scary to be the person that goes first. It can be scary to put yourself out there. It can be scary to be seen. But I just invite the manifestor, whatever you decide to do it wholeheartedly. And that does not mean self-sacrifice. You may be in a season of creativity, of ideas, of, throwing things out and not really understanding how it's going to come back to you. But I just want to remind you that energy always returns back to the source or back to the creator. So you may feel like you're putting things out there. Your energy will always come back to you, and it's just building, building, and building. Then there's going to be seasons of more hibernation. There's going to be seasons of more rest, because a manifestor is designed to work in big spurts of energy and then come back. This is where we think about your rest cycles and a manifestor. I use the example that a manifestor is best of service when it's like you're an explosion of energy, explosion of creativity. You come in and you do these things and you create and you give ideas and you hype everyone up, and then you come back and rest. You come back and be in your own process. You come back and reconfigure. This is where you get even more ideas. This is where you get more clarity. And so you need to have this on and off experience. If you try and be on 24/7, you end up being like a candlelight that's just always on. Doesn't really create that much of an impact, but it's always on. I just would invite you as a manifestor that you are more powerful when you have that explosion. You come in and then you retreat. Come in, retreat. And that's going to feel very intuitive to you. And it's something to just start, I guess, allowing within yourself. It's not even something you have to work out, figure out, practice. It's when you're in connection with your body and you trust your body. It's going to let you know, it's going to tell you. But we need to create space for you to receive the ideas and the downloads. Your ideas and downloads, you're a transmission for divine intelligence. But if you create no space in your life and you're always running around busy, doing a to-do list, dropping the kids, then you're going to pick up the thing, you got to cook the dinner, you got to do the washing. And then in the morning, you got to clock on for your job, and you're just every single moment. And then in the off time, you've got your phone, you're watching TV. It's just, there's no space. Of course, you're not going to feel creative. Of course, you're not going to have the ideas. So creating space in your life is very important. Also as well, let yourself dream. Let yourself have desires. A lot of manifestors will shut it all out because, God forbid, you get rejected for it? What if I'm abandoned for it? What if people don't like it? Or what if this actually means I have to step up? So I just want to remind you, Manifestor, that you are divine intelligence. You are creative intelligence. That's what your soul came here with. And you are life force energy, like creation energy on steroids. And your energy wants to move. Your life force wants to move. And the only thing that stops us is the words in our head, the stories in our head, and the fear and sensation in our body, the nervous system that gets dysregulated when we potentially could be rejected or judged or abandoned, or people won't like us. So no one is stopping you, Manifestor. That's the thing. As I said, the idea of not being free, and we then can think, I can't be in that work role, or I can't be in that company, or I can't be in that relationship because they'll inhibit my freedom. No, you are the only one that can inhibit your freedom. And it's going to be your own stories in your head that tells you can't do something, or it's not safe to do something, or the sensations in your body that says that we can't go there, that this is not safe, as I said. So when we can see and become aware of the fears or the doubts or the resistance that's happening internally, and give love to that part of yourself, be aware of it, but continue to move forward and trust in your mission, trust in your authentic expression, that you are safe to be yourself and you're safe to creatively express, to explore what you want to explore, to follow your urges. And then the second part of your strategy, so you're following your creative urges, number one, then you're informing others. So Ra, the creator of human design, he said that this makes your life easier as a manifestor. It's very unnatural for a manifestor to want to inform, because they've learned through life experience that if you inform, people will give you their take. They'll give you your advice, that unsolicited advice. And a manifestor doesn't want advice. This is the whole thing. It's so funny when I even have manifestor clients. I'll never tell a manifestor what to do. It's just about helping a manifestor create their own clarity within them. And I would ask you as well, manifestor, if you're shopping around for advice, where are you not connecting and creating connection with yourself? Because you know, you may be fearful of what you know. You may be trying to be a perfectionist, and that means that your authentic expression just can't be. Or you may be afraid. Again, become aware of it, but don't say that you don't know. A manifestor is not meant to be told what to do. A manifestor is designed to connect intuitively within and then follow where you feel called. So when we're thinking about informing others, it's just letting people know what you desire to do, or what you're planning to do, or what you're creating, or what you're learning, or what you believe in, because then they can jump on board. Then they can support you. A lot of manifestors feel like they have to do everything alone, and that's exhausting. You don't have to do everything alone. Get help and share, because then people will benefit from it. So what we're doing is that you're following and trusting your creative urges, because that's what you're here to do in the world. And that's what's going to bring you all the success, all the desire, all the abundance, all the peace, all the love that you desire when you connect inward and follow and trust your urges and you go for it. As I said, don't do anything half-heartedly, because then you're going to receive half-hearted results. If you put your heart into something, and that's what a manifestor needs to do, if your heart's not in something, it's going to be a lot harder for it to happen. But when your heart's in something, you can move mountains, but let yourself move mountains. Notice where you create your own inner resistance out of fear and out of doubt. And it's just about releasing that, integrating that, giving love to those parts of yourself, but then acting in your highest self-expression, acting in your truest nature, because then your desires and what you want to create is inevitable. Like, you can't not create it. It's you, it's within you. And it's just our own stories in our head that will stop you. So be the person you want to be. Be the person who creates the thing you desire. Be the person who reaches out and does that thing. Be the person who records that podcast. Be the person who talks on that stage. Be the person who creates that product. Whatever the thing that you feel called to do, just be that person, and it's going to naturally align. And then your manifestations will naturally align with you. So think about informing as just making your life easier, because then you're able to connect with the people that you're meant to connect with to help build this life that you're creating. And also it's going to help your people around you feel more connected to you. It can be, as I said, this independent lone wolf energy as a manifestor. So if you're in relationship with people, they might feel not included. For example, if you say, I'm going to move to Japan tomorrow, and your family is saying, I never knew you liked Japan. When did this interest of Japan happening? Why didn't you tell me? And so if you just let people know as things are moving in your world, again, not asking for permission, you're never asking for permission, and you're never asking for their advice, and you can let them know that's not what you're looking for, but you're letting people into your life so that they feel connected to you. And so you don't just push everyone away. So before we go any further, I want to differentiate between an urge and a preference. So when you have an urge, it's like a divine inspiration. You're not going to be able to make sense of where it came from, or I guess do a little bit of a reverse psychology of this idea or this download. So let's use an example. Say you get the divine idea or transmission of start your human design business. That is what I would say is a creative urge versus, so I really want to make more money in this lifetime. I really want to create a meaningful impact. So I went on Instagram and I saw heaps of people keep talking about this human design thing. Maybe I could create a business from human design, and then I can create an offering that's going to help these certain people, blah, 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 blah. That's a preference. That's your mind being rational and trying to make a plan. But if it's just a creative urge, I just need to do this. This is what I'm meant to create. And it's going to keep coming back. So you may as well listen before the universe has to interfere and start making things really challenging and hard. So you do listen. So if you have the urge of start this podcast, reach out to that person, go to this country, whatever it is, it's that practice and that trust of your intuition, of your divine energy. Your mind is not going to be able to make sense of it, and that's okay. And it's not about like necessarily trusting anyone else but you. Trust that you have your back. Trust that you are capable. Trust that at the end of the day, you will always make things work, and trust that life has your back as well. So the not self theme, which is a great indicator for the manifestor when you're off track, when you're not listening to your creative urges, when you're trying to be an identity or in places or contort or mold yourself into something you're not, or trying to be more pleasing or less provoking. Your not self feeling in your body is just your clue of where you're getting off track, where you're not trusting yourself, where you feel a prisoner to your own thoughts or your own conditioning. So that's going to be a feeling of anger. And this can feel big. I call it the sacred rage as a manifestor. And it's important to process this. It's important to not ignore it and bottle it up. And then that creates so much sickness in your own body. It's going to create a lot of resentment in your life, a lot of frustration. So have healthy ways where you're able to release and integrate and process your anger. We don't want to direct it at another person. This is your own experience. And then notice, okay, get curious. What is this anger coming up? It's always just an invitation to get curious. Where am I not following my creative urges? Where am I people pleasing? Where am I not allowing myself to be the freest, truest expression? Where am I being micromanaged? Because again, no one is forcing you. We allow something to happen in our own personal experience. So where are you saying yes when you mean no? Where are you not allowing yourself to create freely? Where are you holding yourself back from your true greatness and your full power? All just to get curious. And it's just like a beautiful reminder from your body of, hey, let's come back into alignment. So your signature theme is peace. As I said, every manifestor just desires their peaceful revolution to help people, but also to just feel at peace within themselves. So when you're living in alignment with your design, when you are following and trusting your creative urges, when you're informing others of what you're doing, and you're giving your energy to really meaningful and satisfying places, and you feel yourself, the most important thing, when you feel yourself, you're going to feel a sense of peace in your body. No one's micromanaging you. You feel free to be and create. And also, as I said, free to be. Another important thing, you have an undefined sacral as a manifestor. You need your rest. You need your alone time. Please don't always feel like you have to be on or always producing. You're going to feel burnt out. You're going to feel exhausted. And then that just takes away from your magnetism as a manifestor. So let yourself be, let yourself enjoy this life you've created. And from there, you're going to feel your most full and abundant and able to then give and share on the moments where you feel inspired and you feel energetic. The problem is a lot of manifestors feel like they'll never get there. So they're afraid of slowing down or afraid of pausing or stopping or giving to yourself. And I just invite you to give it a try, experiment it, show your body that you can, and see that it actually makes you more magnetic and will attract more into your life. So manifestor, remember that you are here to create an impact. You can't not. You cannot not create an impact. So at least be intentional about it. At least create an impact of what you care about, what brings you a sense of fulfillment, what makes you happy, what gives you energy. And remember that at the end of the day, you are a living embodiment of what is possible here. Follow your creative urges, be in your truest authentic expression. Let your freak flag fly. Let your difference be your superpower, and let people be inspired by that. People are going to be inspired when you are in your true life force energy. And that's not something you can like intellectually work out. It's just who you are when you release all the pressure, all the expectations, and let yourself be. You can't help but inspire. So take the pressure off that as well. And let life direct you towards your highest self, your highest expression on this lifetime. Like you chose to be a trailblazer. You chose to create this new paradigm that we're moving towards. I want to remind you, your desires are divine. They are important. They are what the collective needs. So release any perfectionism or how it has to look. Let it continue to develop as you move forward. Every step you take, you gain more clarity, more confidence. The world needs you, Manifestor. Follow your strategy, which is your creative urges. Each step, even if they're micro steps, every day, and step through the fear. See that you have been preparing for lifetimes for this. Notice when you go into your not self of anger and realign and come back to your creative urges and create your peaceful revolution here, because that's exactly what the world needs. Thank you so much for listening, Manifestor. I love the manifestors in my space. If you would like to learn more about your energy type, all the other energy types, and every aspect of the human design chart, I'd invite you to have a look at the human design certification, because that's where you'll become the true expert and you can become the change maker in our society, in our collective. And if you have a manifestor child, I just remind you that honor their difference, honor how they operate in the world, and just be a vision holder for them. And yeah, that support for a manifester where they just know that they're unconditionally loved is just so healing for the manifester. Thank you for listening, and check out our other energy type videos.